Now and go straight to Sam Coates, our deputy political editor, bringing us some breaking news. Sam.
In a very dramatic week for British politics, we have more. Keir Starmer will not face any fixed penalty notice fines from Durham Police over the events of the 30th of April last year. Durham Police, after a 6-week or so investigation, have decided that there isn't a case to answer for the leader of the Labour Party and the deputy leader of the Labour Party, Angela Rayner, over the events in Durham Miners Hall just a few days before the Hartlepool by-election. The police have been investigating. Let's look at the statement now from Durham Police that's just been issued. Following the emergence of significant information, investigation was launched by Durham Constabulary about what happened in the Miners Hall in Red Hills, Durham on the 30th of April. Those are the events that you can see on your screen at the moment. That investigation has now concluded. A substantial amount of documentary and witness evidence was obtained which identified the 17 participants and their activities during that gathering. Following the application of the evidential full code test, it has been concluded that there is no case to answer for a contravention of the regulations due to the application of an exception, namely reasonably necessary work. Accordingly, Durham Constabulary will not be issuing any fixed penalty notices in respect to the gathering, and no further action will be taken. They went on. The investigation has been thorough, detailed and proportionate. The final evidence supplied by participants from the local constituency was returned to Durham Police on the 5th of July and analysed by investigators against all the evidence before the investigation was concluded on the 8th of July 2022. In line with the established national policing guidelines, we're not going to identify any of those present and everybody has been informed of the outcome. Let's go straight to the Labour Party's statement. In the last few moments, a Labour Party spokesperson has said, Keir Starmer and Angela Rayner have always been clear that no rules were broken in Durham. The police have completed their investigation and have agreed, saying there was no case to answer. We understand that Keir Starmer will be making a statement this afternoon and take some questions about what's been going on. So this is all about what happened, as you can see on your screen, on the 30th of April. The allegation that was made, including by some Tory supporters and pushed very, very hard by the Conservative Party, including the Conservative MP Rick Holden, was that the event that you can see at the moment, which effectively at the end of the day, Keir Starmer was on his way to Hartlepool, and that there had been a curry and that people were having some drinks, and you can see Keir Starmer with a bottle of beer in his hand, that hadn't been reasonably necessary for work, which under COVID regulations at the time wouldn't have been acceptable, because at that point we were in step 2 of the roadmap that Boris Johnson had put the country in as we were coming out of that particular phase of COVID. But that meant at the time that you could only really you could only really see other people socially if it was. You couldn't see other people socially. You could only have gatherings if they were reasonably necessary for work. There was an investigation into Keir Starmer and into Angela Rayner about whether or not the gathering was reasonably necessary for the purposes of campaigning in an election, which would also have been an exemption. And that curry, takeaway curry, has been judged part of a working event. There were more than a dozen people there, and although the event was filmed through that window, clearly Durham Police have decided that eating at the end of the day did not constitute a breach of the rules. It was part of the working day, and therefore it has not generated a fixed penalty notice. Keir Starmer, of course, if you remember, gambled on this, on being cleared as part of this event by promising to resign if he was facing a fixed penalty notice. He, of course, wanted to draw a contrast with the Prime Minister, who did receive a fixed penalty notice for the infamous birthday party that he went to inside Downing Street. Keir Starmer promising to resign if he was found to have breached the rules and issued with a fixed penalty notice, as did his deputy, Angela Rayner. But there is going to be huge relief at the top of the Labour Party, all across the Labour Party, that Durham Police have said that there's no further case to answer after what Durham Police say is a very thorough investigation that has taken over a month to conclude.